Greetings, Earthlings. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. So today we're going to be talking a lot about Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to be talking about CDPR, Sapkowski. So let's get into it, huh?
Let's go.
Okay, sure. First thing that I want to talk about is the issue with Sapkowski and CDPR. We were just talking about that off the camera. And what do you think about this situation?
Well, I think that if I was the people at the project, I will take it personally, really, really, really bad. And on a personal level, I feel like it's a backstabbing.
Mm,
There is a thing though that people don't know from this story. Before Sapkowski talked with the project to do a version of The Witcher,
mm-hmm.
before that, he already sold the copyright of his works to do another video game in Poland. A video game that, by the way, was never finished.
Mm,
So the agreement that he reached with this other developer was a percentage of the sales.
mm-hmm.
And as the game was never released, he never saw a cent of anything at all. So when CD Projekt approached him to do their version of The Witcher, Sapkowski already had the bad experience of this previous developer that didn't finish the game. And taken into consideration that the first Witcher was also the first video game that CD Projekt was doing, because before that they were only distributors.
Mm-hmm.
So Sapkowski didn't trust that this was going to be a reality, and instead, this time he thought, this time I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm going to ask for the money up front. The thing is that he received 35 Polish zlotys.
Mm. Only. Oh
Only,
damn. Oh
only,
damn.
but this is the amount that is known. But after that, the project did other offers because they wanted to bring him in. The same way they brought in Mike Pondsmith to do
Mm-hmm.
Cyberpunk. They wanted Sapkowski to be part of the team that was creating the game. They wanted him as advisor. He refused. There were a lot of other offers that Sapkowski refused,
Damn.
and it's not proved. I mean, it's not known the same way that it's known that about this first quantity that was very, very small. But the rumor says that he received other payments for other works inside the company.
Mm.
And this is the thing that CD Projekt did a lot of offers to him. It's not that they tried to, to pay as little as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So when they received this mobster-style letter from the lawyers of Sapkowski, I believe that they took it really bad in a personal level. I mean, I would. I'm not criticizing that they. I'm not saying that they shouldn't in a personal level, because they are fans. Every
Mm-hmm.
time they have the chance, in every interview they talk about The Witcher, they always say how much they love Sapkowski's works. And the fact that your idol sends this kind of letter, because the worst of it is the tone.
Mm.
The,
Yeah.
the, the worst of it all is that CD Projekt and Sapkowski were already in negotiations to transfer the full copyright of the works of Sapkowski.
Mm.
Allegedly, although this is not proved, to continue with the Witcher saga because the fans were demanding the Witcher 4,
Mm-hmm.
and also to continue to create other works in the expanded universe, like Thronebreaker, Gwent, and I believe that they want to make more things
Mm-hmm.
into Gwent and Thronebreaker work. So what I find more unbelievable of this is that they already were negotiating this. So this was the perfect chance for Sapkowski to negotiate a new deal
Mm.
that would give him the money that he believes he deserves. So this
Exactly.
letter in between is like, oh, what the fuck, man?
And also, like, the thing is, because of the success of The Witcher, like, thanks to CDPR around the world, like, the sales of his books went up.
Well, the worst thing of that is that instead of being happy, it seems that he's very sour. And he's always complaining that the images, the artwork of the game are used as covers of the book,
Mm.
because he says, well, then, uh, fans are going to believe that this is derivative work. It's not that I did the books first and the books inspired the video game, but the other way around. It's like, just count how many people bought The Witcher. If only 5% of players of the Witcher trilogy bought the books, this is like 1-2 millions in royalties. That's a lot of money.
True.
And the Netflix series.
Yep.
That is also a thing because of the project.
True, and he was like, in one of the interviews that you can find on YouTube, he was like saying, and like on one side, okay, he said that he has better things to do than play the games because he was asked about them. But you know, even though you said like, okay, you have better things to do, it kind of sends like a really negative message that you are really not going with CDPR to expand the universe, to make the games even better, to, I don't know, like it's kind of a wrong thing from him.
Well, I understand that he wants money under the point of view that the Zeta project is expanding the universe, is doing a lot of things around it. You have the pen and paper game for The Witcher, you have the board game for The Witcher. By the way, I didn't know the board game. In fact, I came to know about this, the existence of the board game thanks to Mr. Sapkowski's letter. There's also a free-to-play mobile game. There's also Gwent. There's also Thronebreaker. And it looks like there are going to be more things. At this point, maybe there are. If I was them, I would say, well, I will give you 5 million, and I don't want to hear a single word of you now again.
Because when you kind of compare, like, and I hate saying this, but when you compare Mike Pondsmith to like Sapkowski, when how much Mike is invested in just making Cyberpunk 2077 amazing, it's kind of crazy. Like, he's so invested.
Some people said, well, I hope Mike Pondsmith doesn't do the same. It's like, hello, did you hear Mike Pondsmith talk about Cyberpunk? He's like mind blown about the game. It's not like Sapkowski, like what you said before. Well, I have better things to do than playing the game. Mike Pondsmith, every time that he talks about every small feature of the game, like, whoa, it's so fantastic. I just love it.
Yeah, true. He's very excited about it. Like, it's like his dream coming true because he wanted to develop Cyberpunk into a game, but he never got a chance until now.
It's very funny because when he wrote the 3rd edition of Cyberpunk, in the foreword he said that, well, Cyberpunk 3rd edition changed a lot of the 2nd edition, but a lot, and tried to create a system that was more simple because the system of 2020, well, I mean, is for hardcore gamers. And he wanted to create a system for a pen and paper game that was closer to a video game because at this point, people, the video game industry, RPGs in video games was starting to be a thing. And he wanted to create something that was closer to video games. And it's funny because now they are doing a video game and they are making their best to try to create something that is closer to the pen and paper games. And it's, that's ironic. That's ironic.
True, like just seeing from the gameplay, obviously you saw the gameplay before me, but like the number of choices and like how the open map looks, it's crazy. It's amazing. Like approaching every single mission.
And it's funny because after seeing the gameplay, there's a huge amount of people that thought that the game was small.
Oh.
And I was thinking, small, excuse me, we didn't see a lot of things in the gameplay. We didn't see the combat zone, we didn't see the net.
Yeah, we saw nothing.
We saw nothing at all. I am still curious about I'm not sure if you remember some time ago, some folks, Eurogamer, I believe, I'm not sure, went to the offices of CD Projekt at the Warsaw, and they saw a poster with the key points for Cyberpunk. They took a picture, and it went to their Twitter. And one of the key points of Cyberpunk was that the game had 2 sandbox environments. This is something that haunted me since the moment I saw it. Yeah, because I was trying to think, wow, why would they do 2 sandboxes for Cyberpunk? Because the only reason that I can find for a game to have 2 sandboxes is that you have 2 parts of the game with different physics.
Makes sense.
In what part of Cyberpunk do you have different physics in the net?
Ah. I didn't think about that. Damn.
I gave it a lot of thought.
Because I know the net is gonna be huge. Obviously, they were investing a lot in like having your character be a hacker. So obviously, a lot of the things you will be able to do with him is gonna be.
Well, in the gameplay, we only could see a crystal jog type of hacking. We didn't see anything from the net. We only see the plug and play that I call it. But in the official press release that the project published just right after E3, it says that you're going to be in the net. And you mentioned that you can be a net runner, but we didn't see anything.
Well, depends. If they go like with the second like showcase, if they go more with the net, then it's gonna be epic.
Yes, and I really hope that when they say that you can be a net runner, they are not using, like, you can be a crystal jug, but we call it net runner. No, we want to see the net. I mean, crystal jug is crystal jug, and it's great to be a crystal jug, but I want to be a net runner. I want to plug myself in like T-Bug.
So yeah, that also like covers one of our topics, like character builds in Cyberpunk. Like, obviously, from what I've been hearing, you really love net running. So are you going to go with that character for the first playthrough or something different?
Well, I'm a solo. And even more in video games. Usually, it's very funny because in general terms, I love fantasy. I love Tolkien. I love everything that is fantasy. I love it. But I never liked the way that fantasy was translated into video games. Because in video games, I like action, and I like shooting things in the head. It's a joke that my friends usually do. And in the pen and paper video game, I used to play a solo mostly because playing Netrunner was really, really slow. And we reached a point in my squad where no one, no one wanted to pick a Netrunner because it made the game really slow for the rest of the team.
Oh.
Which I hope doesn't happen. Well, in fact, it doesn't really matter if it happens in the video game because you're playing alone.
Yeah.
It's a single player.
Depends if they do some co-op. Depends.
Yeah, but it depends on what happened with Cyberpunk Online.
Yeah.
They find how to do with it. But a solo, for me, for a video game, I mean, I'm a simple person. I like shooting things. I like shooting things in the head. I don't ask much.
I'm more of a kind of a stealth type. So like I was really interested how they're going to do like melee system and melee mechanics. And from what I've seen, like how you can jump with those like claws, you can jump on a wall and then jump at someone. That's cool. I want to go with someone.
Now that you mention stealth, I don't know if you saw that recently, like a couple of days ago, there was an interview with Patrick Mills, where he said that there was no way to finish Cyberpunk without killing anyone. There was no way.
There was no way.
There was no way.
Interesting.
I read it and I thought, well, actually, to be completely every time that I tried to make a non-lethal gameplay of any game, I never managed, never. Not a single time.
Yeah.
In fact, the only time I was close to make a non-lethal gameplay was in the last Deus Ex, that you have this sniper where you don't kill people.
Yeah, tranquilizer.
And at one point, I found a character I just hated, so I draw my gun and kill her.
Well, I mean, yeah, if they're not going towards like full, of course, they can't go with full freedom here in Cyberpunk. Obviously, you're gonna kill someone. You're gonna run over someone. But again, just having like stealth and melee system is amazing because I can use stealth and then use melee weapons to get through the enemies. That's cool.
I'm really looking forward to see what they do with melee weapons, and I did an official and polite request to have a wrench as a melee weapon because it's my specialty. Long story. Oh. Well, long story really short. I made Prey, Arcane Studios Prey.
Yeah.
As a public, which is an amazing game. I did 2 gameplays. Well, 3, but because the third I did it on Twitch.
Mm.
Only with a wrench, with no weapons.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we definitely need a wrench here. I only want a katana. That's the thing I want. Like, I know we're gonna have a katana, but I wonder how soon we're gonna get it as we start playing the game.
Well, the thing is that in the original pen and paper game, you can also have a chainsaw.
Ooh.
So if you have a chainsaw in the video game, maybe you will forget about the katana soon.
A bit too brutal.
Well, it all depends if we can go cyber psycho.
Yeah, also when wondering about that, like that hasn't been talked too much. Like, depending on our implants, is there going to, what do you think? Is there going to be a chance for us to go psycho if we put too many implants in ourselves?
Well, the thing is that when people hear it, we are not going to be able to go cyber psycho.
Mm.
It seems to me that these people don't understand how the mechanics of going cyber psycho go, because going cyber psycho means zero empathy. And in the original pen and paper game, when you reach this point, you took your character sheet and you gave it to your game director to throw it away and create a new one, because you lose control of yourself, and that's it. But you have when you have the last 3 points of empathy, that's pretty psycho. That's already going a little nuts. And so when CD Projekt says that we won't be able to go cyber psycho, I understand that we won't be able to reach 0 of cyber psycho, but we can go pretty close to this.
Oh, that's exciting.
So one thing is losing control of yourself, and a different thing is having 2 points of empathy and calling meatbags to people and wanting to kill them and have dialogue options that are more aggressive. I think that's doable.
Yeah, definitely, when you think about it.
And I think, again, when CD Projekt says that we won't be able to reach to be cyber psychos, I believe that they mean... Actually, this is going to be implemented in the game somehow, or at this point they are trying to implement it, because in the gameplay we could see when you went to your Ripper Dog that the implants had associated a cost in humanity. So it for me it means that they are thinking about implementing this somehow. How? No idea. But I think it will be great if it's in the game.
Yeah, because it's interesting, because dialogue itself is very dynamic from everything we've seen, and they've been talking a lot about it. Like, even during the dialogue, something can go wrong, or something can go good, or you can do something crazy. Like, there was, when we were talking with Militech, there was obviously a chance for us to grab the gun from the guy. That would be...
And we would be killed.
Yeah, I was like thinking about that, like, don't grab the gun, the guy's gonna kill you.
Well, I was thinking the other way around. Grab the gun, I'm going to be killed so many times in this game, so many times.
I wonder, like, even if, like, there's a way for us to kill her, like, obviously the mission won't end, because they said, like, approach the mission how you want. Like, that would be cool to see. Like, especially if if you wanna be, like, I would say, have 0 empathy towards people just for our own goal. I think that would be a way to go.
Well, I thought the same, but under a different perspective. Because in this scene, we have 2 Militech cooperatives. One is Stout, the woman, and the other one is the man that she is holding. So maybe if you kill her, you will make a friend in Militech, the other guy. And that can be useful in the future.
Yeah, because every single choice we make is going to have a consequence.
That's why I thought, well, we can try to kill her. What I don't know is that who are the goons working for Militech or for her? If we kill Stout, then the bodyguards are going to try to kill us, or suddenly the bodyguards work for the other guy.
Yeah, interesting. I think they're Militech. I don't know. I think they all work for... I think she worked for someone bigger.
This is typical corporate inside the corporation, and it's totally typical. I mean, incorporated are always trying to escalate, meaning that you have someone below you that would kill you for your position, and someone that is on top of you that would kill you to keep the position. So it's something. It's a dynamic that is very typical from corporates.
Typical power game.
Yes, they have the goals of the company, and then they all have their own goals.
Gonna be interesting to see.
Yes, that goals doesn't mean going against the corporation, but going against other corporates to climb up the corporate ladder.
Well, I wonder if I go with like kind of a corporate playthrough for the first one, to go really inside the corporation. It would be interesting to like start a fight between two corporates, let them kill each other, and then you take the position.
Well, a corporate is not going to be a character class that you can pick in the game.
Yeah.
But you can make friends in corporations. In fact, at the end of the gameplay, when you create your character, you can choose as a hero. Saburo Arasaka is the founder of Arasaka, and also at the end of the gameplay, the Militech woman says, "Well, we should work together more often," and you can say, "Oh, yes, indeed."
True. That's what I was talking about. Like, really go inside a corporation. Like, there's probably gonna be a lot of high-tech weaponry and armor from them.
Yes, you can try to steal from them, like the Booster Gang did. And it may or may not have consequences. Usually it may have consequences.
Yeah, but it's either, I don't know, it's like you either rip off a gang or you rip off a corporation. What's better? But I always like...
The thing is that Stout summarizes this very well. The corporation always wins.
True. Because when they planted the chip and they was like, oh shit, it's a virus, I was like, oh damn it, they used us.
But when I saw the virus, I was like, what? Is this Soul Killer? Do Militech have the Soul Killer? Because actually, one thing that people don't know about when I was watching the gameplay for the first time. I had a very stressful day, and I was, I have a problem with being locked in places, an emotional problem. That's why I hate flying, and I also have motion sickness. So it all mixed together that I had a very stressful day. I was locked inside a small room full of people in the dark, and we saw the gameplay in a projector, not in a TV screen, which always has less quality. And I've been told that we were seeing it in 30 frames, which is not the best quality either. So I was feeling like super sick. So and my mind was going to places like crazy. 5 minutes before that, I thought Martin Iwiński had superpowers, which is another story. I was really crazy in that moment. So the amount of things that I saw in the gameplay, I couldn't talk about them because I wasn't sure if I was seeing them because I wasn't feeling well. So that was a thing. You know?
Yeah, also like wanted to ask you, like, what was the first thing you thought when you saw the gameplay? You just said it. So, like, also, like, I wanted to ask you about the first person versus third person, because that was like, it still is a big thing. What is your thoughts on it?
I have the personal thought, and then I have the gamer thought. The personal thought is that as I complained about the first person because I didn't expect it. I heard the CEO of CD Projekt, well, the joint CEO and co-founder Martin Iwiński saying originally that we were going to be able to switch between first and third. Also, usually RPGs are the safe haven for people that have motion sickness. So nobody expected a first-person RPG. And second, under the point of view of sales, they are going to leave a lot of people out of this because motion sickness is a thing that is way more extended than people believe. There are some cases like mine that I'm a stubborn person, and I play a lot of first person, like feeling sick because I can't. I just can't fight it. I tried. I tried that everything around me in my environment, the moment that I'm playing something, is as perfect as possible to avoid to have motion sickness. But for instance, I finished Bioshock 1. I was literally puking in the last scene. I mean, I was.
Really?
Yes, I was playing in the place of a friend of mine because I didn't have the game myself, and he was really worried and he wanted to take me to the hospital.
Oh.
Because I looked horrible for for feeling sick for the motion sickness. And before that, before making that video that everybody said that I was doing emotional blackmail to the people at CD Projekt. The thing is that just before making that video, a really close friend of mine who has motion sickness, but he can't play games in first person. Oh. He can't, and he was incredibly hyped for the game, and he called me crying.
That's
he
sad.
called me crying because he couldn't play the game. Oh. And I was looking so forward for the Cyberpunk online. I hate online games, and one of the reasons why I was expecting that game is to play with him. So he called me crying because he couldn't play Cyberpunk. And then people say, well, what is your thought on first person? I mean, I will be able to play it more. I hope I will be able to finish, because there are games in first person that I couldn't finish. But the world doesn't revolve around me. And thinking about the number of people that are going to be left behind by this decision, it really saddens me. Because it's not just about me. I will find a way to finish the game, because I'm stubborn like this. Maybe I will end up in the hospital, and if I die, I expect the project to pay for the bill. But I know a lot of people who won't be able to do that, and it's really sad. And I also know that some modders are already working on a way to put the third person in Cyberpunk, to mod Cyberpunk to have the third person for these people that can't play in first person, because this is something that happens.
So do you think that this is going to be resolved with a mod, or is CDPR going to, let's say, change their opinion after the game comes out?
No, they are not going to change their opinion. They already said a lot of time. They are working on ways to improve that for cases like mine, where I can play but I feel sick. So they are working on solutions for that.
Oh,
so more people will be able to play the game comfortably without dying. But for the cases where there is no way they can play a first-person game, they are not going to change it. They also have a reason behind that, because in the gameplay, well, yes and no. I saw the gameplay. Well, at this point you saw it also. And when people were commenting about the first person, they said, well, there is this scene on a car, well, when she's talking with the fixer, that is impossible to make in third person. Yes, it's impossible to make that scene in first person, and there are a lot of other scenes that are impossible to make in third person. But there are some scenes, like wandering around the city, where you can have, technically speaking, you can have third person if you want to have it.
Yeah.
Because you can drive in third person.
Yes, that's something like, I saw like, oh, you can switch the camera for the car. I was thought like, okay, so maybe there was a chance, but I don't know, I'm okay with the first person. Like, I don't obviously have motion sickness, but again, like, a lot of people expected this to be in third person, and I don't know, like, I understand the decision because of the immersion and everything, but I also think that...
Yes and no. I mean, it looked good. It looks good in first person, but the immersion thing is very personal. I mean, there are a lot of people that are saying, well, I'm sorry, but my immersion is not something that a developer is going to tell me how to live it. There are some who believe that for them third person is more immersive because they are seeing the character. I mean, this is personal. You can't say this way is more immersive in general for everybody, because it doesn't work like that.
Yep. True. Especially because there's gonna be a lot of cosmetics for her character, especially the implants and everything. Oof. Like they...
Yes, well, we're going to have this photo mode where you're going to be able to see your character and obviously the cutscenes, and, well, when driving, I accessibility when you get in and out of the car. Otherwise, or in a bike, maybe in a bike you can see your character.
Yeah, but even like the driving in third person, I think is only going to be available when we're not fighting, because I don't think we're going to be shooting from third person.
Yeah, you have a point in here.
Yeah, so it's only going to be for free roam, that somewhat, or going to mission when it's not.
But yeah, they definitely are definitely not going to change their mind in that, and I understand the reasoning behind. But there's another thing that worries me, apart from any personal opinion I may have on first or third person, is that I can't recall a first-person RPG that's been successful in terms of sales.
Oh.
I mean, maybe I'm missing something in here, and I'm missing a game, but I couldn't think of a game that is an RPG and is exclusively on first person and has been successful. There are many that have been good. For instance, Prey, Bethesda's Prey. This is a great game. I believe the game is fantastic. The design is fantastic. Everything is fantastic in this game. But it didn't sell a lot. And it was a great game, but it was an RPG in first person. And maybe there is one, and I can't recall. But it's what I say. I don't remember any first person RPG that was economically successful.
Well, there was, like, if you consider Human Revolution from Deus Ex to be an RPG, they sold somewhat well.
Not that well.
Yeah, and they weren't Call of Duty, but yeah, when you think about it, a lot of these first-person games were, they were successful, but they were not